Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the East Side Criterium. Took place on the 10th of September. Here we roll off with a B category, 12 lap race on the circuit, 40 kilometers. Quite a few veterans with the youth. Let's see what unfolded. So as you start, you head directly into the faster part of the circuit. It's about a -2% gradient. Speeds are relatively high. No serious attacks right in the beginning. So the few teams represented: Full Gas Racing, Northlift Cycles, Nessa Africa, Team Winspace, and your usual individuals. Here's a little soft move from Richard Baxter from Full Gas Racing, and we hit the drag for the first time. And on the right goes Carl Mitchell from Honeycomb, trying to bridge across and go with. No one really keen to react to those moves. And then on the left, Mark Rodriguez from Full Gas tries to go across to his teammate. I'm not sure why he would have done that. And on the front, we have Matthew Greer from Winspace, just also putting the pressure on a little bit. Now there's a couple of riders in front, probably 5-6 of them. Ethan Wiesner from our team, Nessa Africa, sees this and tries to ride across. A few of the individual guys also see this and try to roll off the front as we approach the faster section now towards the finish line. The Seattle rider here tries to close the gap, and then there's a reaction from one of the youngsters on the left, and we all get onto the wheels as we approach the end of the first lap. So we can see that group of riders in front. Doesn't seem to be like there's much cohesion in front. They're not really pulling away. I get back onto the wheel there and I see Ethan in front, so I swing off and see what the guys are going to do. You could just see that group in front around the corner on the far section. So there were two riders between the front guys. It was Ethan and another rider. We went past them and now we could see the guys on the drag for the second time. There's Kent Kirkwood from Raf Buddy, come with a flyer to get across. As we get to the top of the drag, you can see that group in front didn't make much distance on us. And over on the right here, from Team Honeycomb, Brendan Blokland decides to put in an effort there, jumped onto his wheel. So you can see the guys in front really trying to press on now. Brendan Blokland doing quite a big turn right down the hill. I'm going to fast forward there, right till behind the bend. He did in a massive turn to close the gap for us to head on to lap 3, and the gap was closed, and he kind of just pressed on, keeping the speed quite high here. I decided to put in a little move and not attack on the uphill, rather on this part, and see how it goes. So I first wanted to see what kind of reaction there was from the group, and didn't really use a lot of energy, rather just see what's happening behind. And very early on in the race, not to stay out so far in front and just die out there. So as we approach the drag for the third time, once again is Brendan Blokland bringing the guys across with Richard Baxter. There's Wijan, Niuwoudt, and the rest of the group. We're back on the top of the drag, and small little move on the left there, nothing much. So we're heading up now to the top, and the group's basically back together. So there is one rider up the road. Wasn't sure who it really was, but nothing major, not a big move. So we're back onto the downhill. Guys are just sitting in. I'm not happy to react. I mean, we're only on lap 3. Yeah, we're back onto the start finish, rolling onto lap 4. Here we have Mark Rodriguez getting a nice tap on the back from his teammate Ashad Musa. Not sure what they were discussing there. There's a big attack from one of the youngsters from Bycraft Performance Coaching, and the rider from MCG trying to track him down. As we approach the drag for the 4th time, the youngster didn't really pull any gap and was caught. So at this point, no one really willing to do anything, and the bunch is just rolling on. So on the faster part, approaching lap 5, see a little gap and just decide to move up to the front just so a person can see what happens. There's a rider from Seattle trying to put a move, try to get in between the people there. It was a little bit risky. The rest of the group just follows, and we're on lap 5. So I'm not sure who the rider is right in front, because the rider from Seattle did not really do much there. There was an older rider from Pertec, the older vet, and he was quickly reeled in. So that rider could have been a back marker. We passed a few guys at this stage that had dropped off. There was a little almost close call there. Luckily quick reaction from the older veteran from Pertec. You have Northcliffe on the front, some of the bunch taking the right hand side just for some more space. The quicker part of the circuit now, not much happening. A youngster has a drink of water, looks round, doesn't see me though, comes quite close. I just shot at him quick. He moves left, takes out a few guys almost. That was pretty close. Now the pressure's on a little bit from the front. Here we have the other wind space rider, Matthew Greer's teammate. And I think it's Matthew Greer in front, starting to do a big turn. And we head on to lap 6 now, so basically halfway into the race. So Matthew Greer from Windspace really starts to press on. His teammate leaves the wheel. I jump onto third wheel here. And as we approach the bottom part, Matthew Greer is still driving on in front. There's Moses Wenceslaw from Full Gas, just rolling to the front. He's a 50 plus veteran. So we're on to the drag for the 6th time. We're halfway into the race. Moses Wenceslaw still on the front for Full Gas. He decides to go right. I'm right in the middle. I choose to take this line to see what's happening on behind me. And as I have a look, I decide the bunch is a little bit big, dropped a few gears and decided to put in quite a big move. And yeah, we're approaching 2 back markers. I know one of them is Kent Kirkwood. Later on went to crash, jumped into the bunch as they came past. Carried on to press on with this move, see if anyone else would try and go with me. As I'm approaching the top of the drag, I look back to see if there was anyone that would be able to come across. I saw Cole Lotter come in. He was on his gravel bike with a road setup. I sat up a little bit and waited for him, as 2 is better than 1. So yeah, we can see Carlotta joining me. I thought we could press on now, but the gravel bike just seemed a little bit too slow, and I went straight to the front again. So after Cole could rest a little bit, he put in quite a big acceleration here just to keep that speed up on the gravel bike. So I'm rolling through here, try and keep the pace going. We head on to lap 7, approaching the first corner, and you'll hear in the background here that knock was Cole on the gravel bike hitting his pedal in the corner while he was pedaling. I sat up and Cole decided not to press on. So I look back and I see Peter Avenant come across from TriStar Racing, and Peter did quite a big turn all the way until the drag, gave me some time just to recover. You can see him saving some watts there, but the adrenaline from the heart rate still quite high. So we're on the drag for the 7th time. Peter swings off and not sure he really slowed down there. I decided to press on. We had a gap here and next few riders were coming across. So I choose the right hand line again to see who's joining up here. So there we have Francois Marais, Brendan Bokland in front here doing a big turn, Matthew Greer, Ruan Swanepoel, Ruan Smit, Daniel Vinocho. So here we're on to the faster section, and Brendan Bokland just keeps on pressing on, trying to see what's going on in the back here and forcing the guys through. There's a big gap now and not sure why the guys didn't want to start rolling. So Daniel Vinocho never shy to work, kind of pressing on towards lap 8 here. Brendan Bokland on his wheel, and we head on to lap 8. So basically what happened next, you had myself, Daniel Vinocho, Brendan Bokland really committing to this move, and the other 3 riders were just sitting on. So us 3 really committed to this move. We're doing some big turns, roughly 20 to 30 seconds each, kind of called it to each other, and the tempo slightly increased here, just telling Daniel just to keep it steady so we can just be consistent. So we could see now this move is really established and the other guys really just sitting on. I decided to really get them working, started rolling through, showing them and calling we really need to get going. You can see the rest of the guys really afraid to start rolling through. Yeah, you can hear me just telling them to keep rolling and keep it steady.
Just keep it steady. Each on his turn.
So here we roll on to lap 9 with a breakaway of 6 riders. Yeah, I'm pushing Ruan Smith, just telling him to hold the wheel so we can not leave any gaps and keep the pace quite high. So we get rolling quite nice on the faster part of the circuit. Yeah, we showing that there was a crash on the left, which was Peter Avenant and Kent Kirkwood. There's a touch of wheels and they went down quite hard. Not always nice to see that. Yeah, I'm shouting again on the left to Ruan Smith just to hold the wheel so we can keep it quite tight and keep the speed high. So yeah, I was telling Daniel just to keep rolling because the guys wouldn't then roll if it just see us 2 or 3 doing the pace on the drag. So we have to really encourage them to roll all the time. There you hear me shout roll through again, just to keep encouraging these guys. They didn't seem to like really roll through when they had to, so we had to keep encouraging them, and just so that we could keep the breakaway moving forward. Yeah, we head on to lap 10. We're still not sure of the time gap at this point. Kept looking back to make sure. So 3.3 kilometers with a few turns. Very difficult to see where everyone is.
Hold the wheel, guys! Come on! Come on, James! Keep it up, boy! Let's roll! Just keep rolling, boys, come on!
Yeah, you hear me shouting again just to keep rolling, to encourage these guys. Seems like they were just reluctant to roll and not contribute much to the break. Just had to keep telling them we are in a break and roll, just to keep the speed high, and that's how breakaway works. So to just keep on telling them. At the end of the race, Matthew Greer came to me and said, like, great stuff to keep the guys going, and sometimes it's needed. Approaching the drag, Daniel Vanacho and Matthew Greer, not shy to work though, just trying to keep the thing steady, and we're rolling quite neatly on the drag. You can see wheel a little bit left there by Ruan Swanepoel, and I decided to jump in and see things aren't rolling as smooth. So I think at this point is where we rode Ruan Smith off from full gas, and I saw this, so one less rider is not too bad as we're going to approach lap 7 after the drag. After I swing off here, Daniel Vanacho keeps the pace quite high, making a gap on the guys. I'm happy for this, as I can see the other guys struggling a little bit, not holding the wheels properly. So we've ridden Ruan Smith off from full gas, and I'd rather have us see which guys aren't really contributing and let them rather close this gap down and see what's going to happen if one more had to have fallen off, which didn't happen. I think at this point Brendan Blokland decided rather to close that gap. Daniel sees that is the guys are now with, and they've started rolling again, and that's actually a good thing because they realized, okay, they need to keep rolling to stay with this break. So we rolled on quite nicely here, keeping the speed high on the faster section. Then we were given 2 laps to go as we crossed the start finish line. Matthew Greer putting in quite a big effort there. I roll through, use the faster part here. You'll see a lot less watts needed, keeping the speed quite high, a little bit in an aero position here. Another longer turn though, waiting for the next rider to come through. Daniel Vanacho comes through, and you can see another little gap left. Not sure the guys aren't too much on the wheels, but there we get rolling again, keeping it a bit tighter. So we're onto the drag for the second last time, each one doing slightly longer turns, and the pace is quite steady right now, and you can see we have a good tempo going. At Francois Marais doing his turn, and then Gareth Greer rolling through, just standing up a little bit and keeping the nice tempo. He has a look back to see everyone's there, and then it's my turn to roll through as we're approaching the top of the drag, and then we'll be onto the fast section again. Here we're approaching the last lap. There was no bell rang. However, on the previous lap we were told that there was 2 laps to go. I looked at the board. I see that we were on to the last lap, and on my Garmin as well, I knew that this was now the last lap, and we kept on rolling through here. Now you can see speed not as high as the previous lap. Guys are rolling through a little bit slower. So with us going a little bit slower, we're doing shorter turns with a lot less effort. Here we're lapping one of the youngsters, and we approach the drag for the final time. Brendan Blokland just done his turn. Daniel Vanacho rolls through, pressing on a little bit with Gareth Greer on his wheel. Here we have Ruan Swanepoel struggling to hold the wheel a little bit. I'm happy with this as the gap is not too big. Daniel Vanacho swings off, Gareth Greer rolls through to take his turn, and he also kind of presses on a little bit. Ruan's still fighting a little bit here, and he's onto the wheel. Gareth Greer stands up, you can see, just to keep it up a little bit, and we're approaching the top corner of the drag, and Ruan Swanepoel still, you can see, fighting a little bit here. There's no gap yet now. happy just to see how long Gareth gonna push on. Daniel Vanacho asking me about what lap we are on. I said this is the last lap and we are on it now. And the guy seems slightly confused as we roll onto the fast section again. So I'm not sure what the confusion was about, as the guys did not want to roll through. Usually this happens when you're approaching the finish line. So we have Gareth Greer in front leading it out, Ruan Swanepoel on his wheel, Daniel Vanacho in front of me here, and behind me was Francois Marais and Brendan Blokland. Gareth Greer still leading it out. Yeah, we're on this little kicker, the speed drops, and I see this and I drop a gear and kick real hard. Guys weren't sure as they saw Jeremy on the right there asking what's going on, but we had to really know 2 laps before that we had 2 laps to go. Carried on kicking, saw I had a gap, and happy to take the win. And that's a wrap. Don't forget to give this channel a like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for future uploads, and I'll catch you on the next one.